Fine. Okay. So in every session, I will be waiting for 5 minutes to, other candidates to be joined, and then we'll be starting the session. So today in this module, let's understand basics of every software application. The first point, you all are using software application, right? You are aware what different applications are available in the market. But to become a good tester, you should know some more details about the software application. Example, first point, what is a software? In technical word, software is nothing but set of instructions. Okay, software is nothing but some certain group of programs which is designed to perform certain functionality. So whenever customer wants to simple perform any functionality, or customer wants to implement any software application for the end user, at that time what the customer will do, customer will simply come up with all his requirement, and customer simply reach to the IT industry. Let's take a very simple example. Suppose we have a customer, okay, and our customer is some kind of bank. Let's say previously bank is doing all its activity manually, and now bank wants to implement a web application for their specific bank, right? Consider HDFC Bank, Axis Bank, and they wants to design their own application. What the bank will do? So for now, bank is our customer. Bank will simple collect all his requirement, like whatever requirement they want, and based on those requirement, bank will simple reach to IT industry. Now in the IT industry, how exactly the process will begin? First of all, in IT industry, who is the main person who can communicate with that particular customer? Because currently, blank, this particular bank is our client. Okay, so process will begin with the requirement. So guys, very much important that we should very clear with the customer requirement. Okay, we should be able to understand what the requirements are given by the customer. So initially all the requirements will be provided to the IT industry, and there is one entity in IT industry who is responsible to collect all the requirement from the client. The person entity, that particular profile we can call business analyst, BA. Who is a BA person? This is a main person who can directly communicate with the customer, who will collect all the customer need, all the requirement which is given by the customer, and based on those requirement, BA is responsible to analyze those requirement. BA is responsible to check that whether we are able to capable to implement those requirements, because there is a possibility some requirements it's not possible to be covered. In that case, it's a responsibility of a BA to take the decision. If all the requirements are valid, then those requirement BA will collect in certain documentation. And in software testing, we need only technical documentation. We need something which is related to software. We don't need anything related to agreement, which is done between customer and the IT industry. Are you getting my point? So there are different documentation you will get. Somewhere you will get functional requirement. Somewhere you will get business requirement. So we really don't know, or we really don't require any business requirement. We need all the detail related to software. So somewhere as a tester, you can refer functional requirement. That's okay. Somewhere you can refer a complete software requirement, and that is nothing but BA will simple prepare a document which called SRS, Software Requirement Specification Document. In this document, you will get all the requirements which is approved by the BA. And then guys, based on that requirement, the other team member, those are involved to complete that project, they simply follow the process. Now what process it is? That standard process we call SDLC. So based on the software development life cycle, very first BA is responsible to collect all the requirement from the customer. Based on those requirement, we'll be having a design team. Design team is responsible to design the architecture for a software application. Now what this architecture means, okay, where you need to understand the front end and the back end side. Then these design teams are responsible just to integrate a complete application, means they design architecture. Generally, how come application and how many different modules are there in the application? What is the relationship between each and every module? That is defined by whom? Design team, which is nothing but system architect. So we have design phases. After requirement gathering, we have design phase. Then we have a development phase, right? After development phase, we have a third, that is a testing phase. Here comes testing into picture, right? So whenever application get designed, developed, immediately we need to test. And then only we can make sure that your application is a quality one. And finally, we can deploy the application, and finally we can go for maintenance. So basically, in this particular life cycle, we have total 6 phases, including requirement gathering. That's our first phase. We have total 6 phases available. And based on the life cycle, IT industry is responsible to design, develop, and test high quality application. So at the end, we are delivering quality application to our customer. Are you getting my point? Now, here the term what exactly quality means. Quality means meeting the customer expectation in terms of requirement first, because requirements are the key point, guys. Based on this key, we'll be simply covering this entire life cycle. So, quality means meeting the customer need in terms of requirement, in terms of duration, in terms of budget. Because see, whenever customer provides certain requirement to IT industry, only requirement is not provided by the customer. Along with the requirement, customer defines some kind of budget. That's the cost for a complete project. Customer defines some kind of duration. So, okay, fine. Within how much day we want this particular application to be ready. Consider customer defines some timeline. That cost will be $20, right? And duration will be what? Let's consider duration will be 1 month. Within 1 month, we need this application to be developed. So it's your responsibility as a team of IT industry. Definitely, you should deliver a project on time within a given budget. Whatever budget is defined by that customer, within that budget, we should deliver the project, and even we should deliver a quality application. That's the reason. Quality means consistently meeting the customer need in terms of obviously your requirement, budget, duration, and the one more interesting point is what? Service offer to that customer. See, every customer in IT, that's a king. Every customer requirement in IT, that is called IT project. And for that reason, you should value to your customer. Are you getting my point? So quality is nothing but what? Meeting the customer need in terms of requirement, budget, duration, and the service offer to that customer. So at the end, in testing field, you guys are responsible to test the application, identify some problems or defects from that application, ask a developer to fix it. See, your role is very simple. You are not responsible to fix the problem. You are responsible to identify only the defects from the software application. Fixing part will be taken care by the developer. But for that reason, you need to be very clear about your requirement. Plus, you should prepare proper test cases so that developer will understand after execution where and at what point software is getting failed. Are you getting my point? So these all points are important to know. And that's the reason, in software testing, it is a process where we can test the application to get the defect. So every developer, every tester having a different objective. So today in this module, I'm trying to cover all these basic points. So first of all, we have just started how the process begin in the IT industry. Whenever client have any requirement, client reach to the IT industry. IT industry has to follow the proper life cycle, which is actually called development cycle. And based on the different phases, we complete the process and we deliver quality application to our customer. So what is software? In technical term, it is a set of instruction, set of programs which is designed to perform particular tasks. But in terms of fundamental, I can say software is nothing but, requirements given by the customer. Simple. Software is nothing but what? Requirements which is given or any application which is developed based on the customer requirement. That is also we can call software application. Now, guys, if I ask you, like at a broader level, How many different types of software applications are available in the market? Let me tell you, there are two categories which are by default. First is a system software. Second one, which is called application software. And there is a one more basic category, which is called programming software. So broader level, there are only two types, but let me discuss all these three. First point, what is a system software? System software which we need to manage our computer resource. Okay. So in general, what is happening? Let's say when we talk about a computer system and I want to use a software application here. So initially we have a hardware, correct? Now see, my laptop is just a hardware, right? I can easily touch hardware. Fine. But I want to instruct my laptop. Let's say very first, what we need to do just to start your machine, you need to click somewhere, right? You need to press a button, start button. And then only instruction will simple provided to the entire software. And then your application or this particular laptop will start. So what is happen? Behind this hardware, we have a one more layer. And this is actually called system software. So system software which simply manage entire computer resource, and that is called system software. Best example is what? Operating system. We have operating system. Without that, that's the heart of machine, right? Without that, you'll be not able to start your system. And even you are not able to provide any instruction to your machine. So very first, any system software is nothing but which simply manage a computer resource, that is called system software. Now guys, we can directly interact with the system software, but with the help of certain actions. Like if you press the start button, automatically instruction goes to the operating system. It will start, directly that machine. So there are a lot of examples. Let's say somewhere we have a device driver. Example, I want to connect my laptop with the HP printer. I'm having HP printer with me and I want to connect my laptop. So what we need to do, somewhere some applications are new application. And if you are connecting it first time, you need to install some driver on a system. And with the help of those driver file, you can perform the integration or communication. So same thing, device drivers, somewhere internal things like compiler we use, somewhere some utility we use. All this comes under system software. So system software which is only helpful to the machine, right? To perform certain functionality. So those software we can call system software. The best example is operating system, right? But what we can call as application software? Application software means the software application which helps user to perform particular task. Means what? So I want to just make a paint drawing, right? In that case, we use a Microsoft Paint. We open that application, we start painting it, right? So that is what? Application software. I want to play a game. What I will be doing? I will open a Solar Drive and I will able to play. So what is that? Application software only. Somewhere I'm opening my browser. I want to go for Facebook, right? So I'm going to pass that URL and I will open my Facebook account. So what is that browser? Browser, it is nothing but your application software. So any software application which helps user, that is called application. But any software application which helps that computer machine to manage entire resources, that is called system software. So system software related to your, entire device or entire machine. But application software which helps user to perform particular tasks. Example, we have a calculator, right? We can use calculator. We are opening calendar to check the date and all. All these are what application softwares only, right? Even what is programming software? So guys, basic thing, every software application developed in certain programming language, correct now? So that can be any language. Now you might aware some multiple programming language like C, C++, Java, Python, C Sharp, PHP, right? Even HTML. There are many programming languages are available. So in terms of programming software, the language where you prepare, where you design your code, those editors are comes under programming software. Example, to design C programming, to write a code in C++, Generally, we use Turbo C++ software. To write a Java program, we use Eclipse, we use NetBeans, we use IntelliJ. Correct? To write a Python program, we generally use what? PyCharm. To write a C# program, we use VB script. So generally, I mean Visual Studio. Generally, these are what certain programming languages, and these languages we can implement through certain editor. So all the editor are nothing but programming software where you can simple design and develop your software application. Are you getting my point? So programming softwares are the softwares where you can implement a software application, nothing but editors. So Turbo C, C++, Eclipse, NetBeans, PyCharm, all the editor comes under programming software. So in general, why we have a software application? Obviously to fulfill a customer need, we have a software application. To perform a particular functionality, we have a software application. Again, there are different categories. And these are the broader level two categories, system and application software. So my question is, in software testing, which software application we can test? What do you think? So there are now three categories for testing. Suppose somewhere they have implemented certain editor, somewhere they have implemented system software. Let's say new operating system launch in the market and new any software application launch in the market, which is an application type. So now tell me, if I ask you, in testing, which application we can test? Okay, anybody, you can unmute and you can answer, or you can write your answer in the chat box. That's okay. Hmm? Which application we can test? So is there any criteria? The tester can test only specific application. You can test only programming. You can test only application type. Guys, there is no criteria. You know, as a tester, application could be anything. It could be system, it could be application type, it could be programming type. Every type of application we can test. So are you getting my point? There is no such a criteria defined that some basic application only we can cover. No. Every software application, whatever its type, we can test that software application very, very easily because process of testing remains same. Okay, process of testing application, it's remains same. Now, let me come to the PPT. So first of all, let's understand what is a software application. So software is nothing but set of programs which is designed to perform particular tasks. A program is nothing but sequence of instructions which are written to solve particular problem. Correct? In terms of fundamental, software is nothing but application which is designed and developed based on the customer need. That application is called software application. Now, what are the different types? We have three important types to be learned: system software, application software, and programming software. Broader level, these two types are available. So guys, there is a hardware. You can directly interact with the hardware. To provide instruction to your hardware, you need a system software layer first. On the top of system software, you will get application software. So somewhere I want to use a Microsoft Edge. What I will do, that's a browser. First of all, I need to install it on my machine. So basically, on the top of the system software layer, I'm installing a new software, and that is my application software. So this is what a particular sequence. And we are here. So whenever you want to interact with the system software, any application software, with the help of these particular layers, we can directly interact. So this is how you need to understand, like how exactly user can interact with the system software or any application software. And any of application it is. I mean, application could be system, application could be, simple user application. In that case, we can easily test that software application. So first of all, what is the difference? As I told you, system software helps computer machine to manage their entire resource, right? So when it comes to the system software, the software which manage computer resources and helps computer to function, those software applications are called system software. So what are the different example? We have operating system, compiler, interpreter, some assembler, some device driver. Everything comes under system software. Internal software which machine required to perform particular task. Best example is operating system. Correct? What is application software? Any application which helps user. So let's see. The software application which helps user to perform particular task, that is called application software. And there are many examples you can provide. So Microsoft Office suite, even browser, any railway reservation application, Amazon, all these are what? Facebook, all these are simple system, or we can say application type of software. So these applications comes under application type. But anything which required to manage computer resources, that comes under system software type. I hope the point is clear. And programming softwares are nothing but editors, where we can write a logic, where we can implement a software application. Everybody clear with the topic? Okay, at least you can give some expressions, some expression, or just write in the chat box that, okay, clear, yes, no. So I will understand, right? Chalo, quickly. Is this point clear? Different types of applications? Yes. Okay. Thank you so much for reply.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, yes, thank you. Now let me come to the next topic. Okay. So it is time to understand now different application components. Okay. When it comes to the component. So how exactly we can interact with the software? Guys, very first, let's say if I ask you a simple question, you want to interact with the software application, how you will start your interaction? Let's say if I open a Facebook and if I ask you, okay, fine, just use Facebook application, what the first step you will do? See, if you are a new user for a Facebook, very first you will understand now there will be option create a new account. So you will directly go to that button, you will fill up your detail, you will create your own account, and then you can start using Facebook. If you already register user, what you will do? You will pass your email ID password and you will start using that application. So let me quickly show you this. Okay. So let me open a new page and let me show you. Suppose if I go to the Facebook, hmm, I open this application. And if anybody asks me, okay, fine, use Facebook, it's very simple. How I can interact? Tell me how you can interact. What the first thing you need to start? Here you can see when you open any application, you are able to observe there are text boxes available. There is a button available. If you forgot your password, still you have a solution. Forgotten password link is available. Even you are a new user, you have this option to be followed. Just click, fill up your data, and you can create your account. So what is the first step? To interact with every software application, the first step is what? We have UI. This is first a component to interact with the software application. What is UI? User interface. Okay, this is stand for user interface. Now tell me, let me tell you, in user interface, how the user can communicate with the software application. There are actually two types of UI available. First is CLI and second is GUI. What is CLI stand for? Command line interface. Means through the help of command, we can interact with the software application. Okay. But what is GUI? GUI stand for graphical user interface. Here you will able to see some UI control. UI controls means somewhere on a form, you are able to see there are text boxes available. There is a button available. So it is very easy to understand. Okay, fine. I can pass my detail. I can click on the button and I'm able to log in. Right. So whatever UI controls you can observe, this is what in real time we follow. Because see, every software application, it is not designed and developed based on the command. Few applications are available where you can pass a command and where you will get certain result. Example, let me show you. If I directly go to this point, okay, if I open CMD, my command prompt, okay, so I'm giving instruction to my operating system now. What I want to check? I want to check which Java version I'm using on this machine. So I will be writing, okay, Java hyphen version. So you can see I'm getting version, right? Currently I'm using 17. That's a Java version available on this machine. So what is happening? I'm able to communicate with my machine, but with the help of command, right? Which command I have entered? I have entered this command, Java version. So currently, this is the way where you are interacting with your machine or your application with the help of command, that is called command line interface. But every time, every application we can't use with the help of command. So what is the common thing are available in the application? That's the first point, user interface. Are you getting my point? And that is through graphical user interface. So in software testing also, how you start testing the software application, very first your responsibility is what? Check there is proper interface available. Somewhere user want to enter username. So there must be text box. There should not be any drop down. Are you getting my point? So that's the UI validation. What I should test? Okay, there must be text box available on that page. There should not be any drop down available. So this concept is called what? UI testing. So user interface is the first component that should be available in your software application. Without this, it is difficult to interact. So that's the first component. Clear? Okay. Along with the user interface, what else is required in the every software application? See guys, every software application, it is designed and developed based on certain rules. So whenever software application get implemented, we should test that whether it follows all the rules which is defined, all the validation, okay, which is defined by that particular customer, or somewhere if application is related to specific country, and let's say they have to follow certain rule as per their country, right? Then we have to test that global rule also. So some kind of global validation also it is important to test in that software application. So compliance means certain rule we can validate. We have to test that. Somewhere application design and develop for a different type of user. Means see, whenever application is developed, okay, for that software application, as a end user, we have a different access. But whenever that application used by the admin is having a different access. Even whenever application used by any technical person, who is a technical person, that can be developer, any QA, tester, right? So they have a different access. So generally what happen? Every application should work as per its role, correct? Role specific functionality means as per the user role, application should work, application should behave. For example, you have a banking application to be used. Obviously, you can just check your account details, but your own account details. You can't check some other person account details. Are you getting my point? But if there is an admin in bank, obviously admin can check all the other participants or customers and their all the details too. Are you getting my point? So every application having some authentication based on that particular access control, based on that particular role, we have to test that, we have to confirm that application is used by that user and in a yeah, again a valid way. Are you getting my point? So there should not be like something like I can access all the details of all of you. There should not be this kind of access to the user. As per their role, user should access that software application. So role specific functionality should be there. UI should be there in software application. Again, guys, somewhere I'm a new user and I want to create an account. So in this software application, I will enter my data. I will pass certain data. Let's say I'm writing my email ID, I'm writing my first name, last name, mobile number, all the detail I'm passing. But where exactly that detail will store in the software? So, every software, we have two different parts. Like software is divided into two important parts. First is the front end. Front end means where user can directly interact with the software application with the help of graphical user interface. But we have a backend also. Backend means what? Somewhere whatever user can't interact with the backend. But whatever data you are passing from the front end, that will store at the backend side, and there we need a database. So yes, database is also one more component for a software application. So for every application, we need a database where you can store certain data. Now that data can be again of a different categories. Example, somewhere we have a master data. Guys, what do you mean by master data? Data which you can't change, that's called master data. Name of organization, name of your, let's say, department, name of your profile, that's is fixed, that you can't change, right? That is we can call again a master data. Something which is common, something which is fixed, that we can't change, that is called master data. Somewhere we can store a database for a transactions data. Now, what is meant by transaction data? So, guys, somewhere we use a mobile application, right? So, whenever you use your mobile, let's say you have made certain calls, and then you can go to the logs and you can check that, right? If you go to the phone book, you can check that for last hour, how many calls or how many call I receive, how many call I have simple, completed. All this detail you are getting. So, with the help of that data, what you can do, you can understand the transaction, correct? Even if you open your banking account from the mobile device, you will get last 10 days all the transactions. You can see that. Or even last month, last week, all the details you can observe. Even GPay also, in Google Pay also, you can have that facility. Correct now? So what is that? Some data which will help you to understand the process and how exactly application, how many time you have used, what exactly you have did with that particular software application, that you will able to understand. So such a data is called transaction data. So we can store some transaction data, we can store some master data, we can store some data which is again a general data, something related to your personal detail. You can store such a data in the database. So depends on the software application, we can pass a data and we can able to store it. So again, suppose you are using Amazon and you want to simple buy a product. So what you are doing, you are passing your credit card details. Maybe you are writing your, debit card details. So that's again your important, or we can say private data, correct? Because those information should not be leaked by any other person, or you should not be used by any other person. So that data we can say is in secure way, we are trying to store in a software application. So database is for that, where you can store certain data from the software application. So database is also one more component for a software. What else? Every software application, there should be security available. And basic level of security is always there. Like if you observe, when you try to log in into application, whatever password you enter, every time you will get password in an encrypted format because there is a security available for that software. So example, if I show you here, I'm writing certain data. See, I'm able to see only dots or somewhere you are able to see only asterisks. Why it is so? Because this application provides a security, right? This data you can't, or any nobody can simple leak that data. What exactly you have written, nobody can understood this data. So password is always in an encrypted format. That's because of security. Again, whatever account you will create, that based on that account, whatever data you will store, again, there must be security for your test data or whatever data you are using or passing into that application. So I can say yes, security is also one more component for a software. Now, guys, one more interesting component I want to discuss. Let me explain. Now, tell me, when we talk about a software, okay, any software, first step, you need to understand one more technical word that is called module. What exactly module means? For every software application, any part of that software application, it is called module. Remember, any part, any particular functionality of the software, any method of the software, that we can define as a module of the software. Example, if I can give certain examples to you, let's see. Suppose here I'm writing example one. Just a minute, my page is not working. So when it comes to the any software module, how exactly module will be and what exactly module it is, let's understand. Okay. Just a minute. And now let me show you this part. So when it comes to the module example, the first example, suppose I'm talking about WhatsApp application, right? You are using WhatsApp. So now tell me, what are the different modules you can see in the WhatsApp? Very first, we have whenever you open a WhatsApp application, there are different modules available. Example, we have a chat option, right? Then we have a call option, we have a status option, right? Even through the WhatsApp, we can do payment now. So we have a payment option too. In the attachment, again, we have a attachment option. So we can pass a message along with certain attachment. What we can attach? We can attach any document, we can attach map, any document, we can attach some kind of what we can say, some video, audio, everything. Even there is a audio facility also available. Correct now? So what are these? These are nothing but small part of that software application or any particular functionality of that software application. In technical word, we can just call it as module. Do remember, this is what your module. If I talk about Amazon, what are the different modules available in Amazon? See, first one, user can register. Okay. Second one, user can log in. Okay. User can search a product. User can add a product to the cart, so add to cart, right? User can make some payment or user can log out, right? So these are what basic modules for Amazon application. Similarly, if I just take Google, that's your Gmail, right? Let me write Gmail account. So for Google Mail, how many different simple modules are there? Again, here also we can do register. Okay. We can do login. Fine. Then we can open inbox. We can check the mail. We can compose mail, right? In the span, we can check the mails, right? Somewhere we can go for a trash and we can check how many mails we have deleted. Even there is attachment. Lot of options available. Even Google Meet, right? So Google Meet is another option, another module we have. So all the basic functionality, all the high level functionality I can say for that software application, that separate functionality is considered as a one separate module for that software application. So what do you mean by module? It's nothing but particular part of that software application or particular functionality of that software application. Here, this is what a separate module available in WhatsApp. These are the different module available in Amazon. Similarly, we have certain modules in Google. Are you getting my point? So module is what? Smallest part or particular functionality of the software. Now, why we are discussing module? Because the next component I'm talking about, that is interface. Guys, what this term means? Interface means where we can connect one or module together, okay, for communication purpose. So interface means you need to understand how the software is integrated together and how the software is simply communicating together. So basically, every module, there is a basic interaction available. Example, new user should register first. After register user only, user can able to do login. So there is a relation, right? Can I say that login is dependent on the register process? If you don't register, you can't able to do login. But if you do register, you can log in. So register, login, even after login only, I can access some other features of that software application. So somewhere this interface is nothing but communication between component to component level. So this is I can call component level integration or interface. First interface in every software application you will have component level. What do you mean by component? Component is nothing but unit. Component is nothing but smallest part of that software or simple unit. Remember. So again, this is my component 1 or you can just call it as module 1. Okay. This is also component 2. You can call it as module 2. Are you getting my point? So these are the different module for a software application. And whenever we test relation between these particular module, that's called component level interface. Okay. Have you seen somewhere two different software applications are also able to communicate with each other? Have you noticed that? Yes, anywhere. Any example? See, have you noticed if you want to log in into, let's say, Amazon, or if you want to log in into LinkedIn, somewhere you will get a direct option. You can log in through your Gmail account. Have you noticed that? You can log in through your Gmail account. So Gmail is a different, is a different application, LinkedIn is different, but still we have a common interface. If you have a already registered user in Gmail or in Google, you can directly use same credential to log in into LinkedIn. And that is what? A simple interface, we can say, in between two different systems. So such a interface is called system level interface. Means in application, we have to focus that. Again, every application doesn't require system level, but some application design where the applications can communicate with each other with some particular interface. Best example, let's say you are buying a product through Amazon, through Snapdeal, whatever application you are using, but somewhere when you want to buy the product, you are passing your banking details over there, right? Somewhere you make a payment with the help of GPay. So GPay is a different application, no? Amazon is different, but still both applications are able to communicate. Are you getting my point? That's called two different systems are able to communicate. That is nothing but system level interface. Everybody, points are clear. So whatever I'm covering, these are called different, we can say, component for a software application, right? So currently you can see there are a lot of components available. Let's discuss one by one again. So very first we have a software components in terms of UI. That's the user interface. There are two types of interface, command line and again graphical. In general, in software testing, we'll be testing the application interface through the graphical. So you should be very clear different controls and how exactly we can validate those different controls. Similarly, every application is different. There might be that application used by different user. So every application, it is important to verify role specific functionality. So proper authentication, proper access control should be there. Again, there is a one more point. Application, whenever it is designed as per their particular government rule, somewhere applications in India, it has to follow all the government rule defined by the India. Similarly, some application based on some different of countries, in that case we have to validate that all the rules validations are again following by that software application. So somewhere best example like currency na, in Indian application whenever you want some currency to be displayed, it is in the rupees only. In other countries, as per their currency, it should show that price for that particular product. Same thing. So business rule validation depends on the culture. We should have that proper data and proper functionality and that we can validate. So that's another component. Again, we have one more, database and data, where we can store a data, right, in particular database, and that could be any type of data. Some private information, some your credit card detail, somewhere master data, somewhere transaction data we can store. Again, what else we can store, guys, or what the another component it is? It's a report. Yeah, in every software application, we need a logs, we need certain report. Report means some information where you can understand the process, right? So example, in banking, let's say you have a account statement. That's nothing but your report, right? Somewhere you are getting weekly account status. Somewhere you are trying to fetch weekly or monthly account status. That's nothing but you are getting some information in a table or tabular format. Somewhere it can be a graphical format also. But that is what reporting is one more component, right? Now the most important, interface. How many interfaces are there for every software? There are actually two types, but depends on the application. Component level is a common, but system level interface depends on that application only. You will get. So first point, system level interface means where two different applications are able to communicate. And component level means which is common. All the application and its module, whatever relations are there with those module, that is called component level interface. Then we have logs. So as I told you, just to understand certain transactions, we have certain logs. So log will help you. to track the entire software. It's like a tracking history, right? We are trying to track history. That is possible with the help of log. Again, backend process, that's another component. So yes, front end side, like we can easily communicate with the system. But how exactly software from the backend working? What the process it is happening? Again, it is important to validate. So why we are discussing component? Because for every software application, these are the common component. Okay. And these component detail, whatever it is required for that software, you guys will get it from the SRS document. So guys, SRS is the first document that you will be getting for understanding the customer need. Inside SRS document, all software application component, it is available with functional requirement. So actually, this is the concept of functional requirement that you are getting from that SRS. And based on functional requirement, you can test functionality of that software application. So first point, whatever we are discussing that is related to testing, correct? So these details, okay, what database it is, okay, how exactly business rule, how many rules we need to validate, even what interface we are having in the software, okay, what kind of role specific functionality we are having in the software. All these details you will be getting in the form of functional requirement. And based on that, we can understand functional requirement and we can prepare or we can perform functional testing. So functional testing, it is a process based on functional requirement of the software. Whenever you test the software application, that's called functional testing. So in functional testing, we can do UI testing, interface testing, database testing, front end, back end side testing. We can test for the security and the business rules. Everything we can cover. This comes under functionality. Are you getting my point? But again, as per the component, we have to discuss characteristics of the software. Guys, suppose functionality wise, your software application is working fine. Suppose I'm able to log in, I'm able to register, but somewhere there is no security. Consider in my software application, if I feel that in this application there is no security, whatever data I'm passing, it is publicly displayed. In that case, there is a problem. Nobody can use such a software application if there is no security. If your application taking lot of time to work, okay, suppose you are trying to register and still the process is going on, still it is simply creating your account and all, and it is taking lot of or long duration. In that case, that's again not, we cannot consider that application is a quality one. So functionality wise, it's all about component of that software. Functional requirement talks about component. But now it is time to understand the characteristics of the software. Let's say what kind of challenges user might face. So there might be a problem with UI. Possible. If UI is too critical, we are not able to understand the UI. Suppose I open the application, it is very dark in color. Even I'm not able to read the data, whatever it is written. Somewhere you have a document which is in different language, which we don't know. In that case, you can't read, you can't understand the document. Are you getting my point? You can't understand and use that software application. So somewhere if there is a UI related issues, we have a characteristics to be followed, that is usability. It is important to test that application is easy to use and easy to access. So usability testing defines that whether your application is easy to use, easy to understand. So guys, here easy to use, application should be easy to use and understand. This is what my first characteristic for the software application. Every application should be secure, right? That's another characteristic. Third, performance wise, there should not be any problem. So performance, what do you mean by performance? Application should give you quick result. I'm clicking on the button, so it should immediately navigate to next page. It should not take some long duration. Somewhere, let's say, some application we can use by multiple participants. So usually what happens nowadays, we are using, let's say somewhere we have a live match, right? So everybody can easily watch that match through software application. So software should have that capacity that at a time, if 100 people are accessing the software application, application should be accessible by that user. Are you getting my point? Somewhere you are using Zoom now. For Zoom also we have a capacity. In one meeting, if I'm using a basic plan, 100 participants can at a time attend this meeting. What is meaning of this? Software having a capacity that 100 people at a time attend this meeting, and that is again comes under performance. So we have to check that. If what if happen, like suppose somewhere people are joining the meeting, people are simply left from the meeting, is still the application or this meeting is degrading the performance? We have to check that now. Zoom is degrading the performance or Zoom is stable? So whatever it is happening, still my Zoom application is stable. So we can test some kind of stability, we can test some kind of response time in a performance testing. The performance of software application also valid. Are you getting my point? So this is what the fact, in real time, application functionality is okay. But suppose your application failing for performance, it is taking lot of time. It is like there is no security at all. Or application is too much hard, too much difficult to understand. In that case, nobody is using that software application. Okay, not only these 3 points, there are many. Example, suppose if I talk about last one more topic, that's compatibility. What is compatibility? See, compatibility means application should be compatible for all the platform. Example, there is a requirement that application can be, this is a web application. So whenever any web application is available, web application should work on every browser now. So there might be possibility I'm using Chrome, you are having Mozilla Firefox, somebody else is having Microsoft, somebody else is having Internet Explorer, somebody else is having Safari. So whatever browser it is, application should work on every browser. That's a common thing, right? So compatibility in ISTQB, it is called portability. Okay, we can test application is portable or not. So portable means what? The same application should work on a different operating system, on a different browser, or on a different device. That is called compatibility testing. Again, as per the requirement only it should work. Example, application designed for Android platform. Please understand, application designed for which platform? Android platform. It should work on every Android version, correct? So I can't test in that way that application should work on iOS also. No. If it is platform based, then what I can do in compatibility, there might be possibility I'm using for Android older version. Let's say I'm using 10 version. You guys are using latest version. Somebody else is using latest version. So for every version, it should work fine. Are you getting my point? That is called compatibility. So guys, these are what? Some quality attributes. Remember, these are called some quality attributes. So quality attributes which will directly impact on a business. If functionality is getting fail, that will impact for that software, that will impact for that user. But somewhere your application is not at all easy. No, there is a lot of issues with security, performance. Suppose it is not compatible with your device too, your application, your resource too. In that case, these quality attributes will simply impact on the business. So obviously, if I don't feel nice, I will again convey the same thoughts with other person. Na? Okay, this training is little bit not appropriate, or it is not worth something like that. So this is happening in the real time too. If application you are using and you are not getting expected result, as per your expectation, application is not working. So we can directly delete that application from the system or from our device. Why it is so? Because it is not fulfilling our need. So every time for every software application, two things are important. Functionality wise, application should be perfect. Second, as per the quality attribute, application should be again a perfect. And you know what? These quality attributes are actually called non-functional. So don't get confused. What do you mean by functional and non-functional? Functional talks about the functionality for that software application. Let's say I'm using calculator. So testing of calculator is just we are making some calculations, and testing any e-commerce site, that is different, because both functionalities are different. But in both application, quality attributes, they're definitely common. So every application we are expecting proper UI, proper security, proper performance. It should be compatible. Again, let's talk about some other attributes too. The first point, there should be easy UI. Application should be accessible globally. Global usage should be there, so that you can use, or that application should be used by other people too. Like global usage, best example is Google, Amazon. Everybody in the world, everybody is using that, right? So such a application we have to test. Somewhere application is only for a domestic market, then within that culture we have to test that application. Somewhere it is developed and designed for the global market. In that case, we have to test the application as per the global need. The global usage depends on application only. Not every application we are using globally. Let's say Arogya Setu in India. It's only applicable in India, right? So we are using that application in the same country. So we have to test as per the Indian government rule. Are you getting my point? So some application designed for a specific, we can say, market or specific culture. So we have to test that application within a same culture, and that will not comes under global. But something which is designed globally, such applications we have to test as per the World Wide Web. Simple. Okay, what else? Compliance. Application has to follow certain rules, guidelines, whatever defined by that particular culture. Again, security should be there, performance should be there, portability, nothing but the compatibility should be there, and again, recovery. Yeah, somewhere there is a possibility your application get fail immediately, so it should easily recover. So I think 2 3 days before only, in the last week only, Facebook also got, simple down. Facebook get down, right? So we are not able to log in into Facebook. But after some time, they recover the application. Now we can easily log in, we can use it. So at the point where the software change its state from normal state to abnormal state, okay, somewhere it is just moving from normal to abnormal, we have to check that how exactly it is recovering back to the normal state. So recovery is also one of the quality attribute. So these are what different application components and its characteristics. As per the component, we have its characteristics, and this is in technical word called quality attribute. So guys, do remember every quality attribute, it is nothing but non-functional requirement. So in SRS, you will be getting non-functional requirement. Based on these requirements, you will be testing non-functional testing. You will do non-functional testing. So generally, SRS simply provide you information about a software application, some kind of functional requirement, some kind of non-functional requirement. And based on those requirements, we do software testing. So first point is clear. These are the different application characteristics. So every software application, you should be very clear about the type. What type of application it is? Is it a system type or application type? Different components means different functionality requirements. To be clear, you should be very clear about the quality attributes too. Those are nothing but non-functional requirements. What else you should know about the software? Now the main part, domain. So what is a domain? Domain is a service area. Do remember, domain is a some kind of service area where the application belongs to. So in general, what different types of domain, and how this type or how this concept is helpful for a tester? See, suppose you got the opportunity. Let's say you are getting a call from Vodafone, or let's take any other idea, or let's say any other, what we can say, Airtel, and you got opportunity for a QA testing. When you go to that industry, first of all, that industry is based on which domain, what kind of business simple they are doing. You need to understand that too. Based on that, they will ask you the questions. Like somewhere you are having a requirement for testing in a banking domain, so you should know all about the finance thing. Okay, how exactly that finance is simply account and financial, the process it is, you should know that details. Somewhere you are going for some kind of insurance related organization for a testing profile, you should know what is the insurance domain. Are you getting my point? So domain plays a very important role. You got an opportunity in Amazon. Obviously, Amazon is what? E-commerce domain. So domain is nothing but some kind of service area where the application belongs to. And that is also important for testing, right? So tester need to understand what domain it is. And for that, you should prepare some information for the domain too, just for your understanding. So guys, domain is a business area, or we can say field to which application belongs to. Domain is basically grouping based on the type of business rather than technology and platform. So what technology they are using, what platform they are using, that's a different concept. But it is a type of business. What type of business, what type of service area? For that area, they are developing and using software application. That is called domain. Now, guys, for example, Vodafone may require a tester to have a telecom domain. Are you getting my point? Similarly, somewhere Amazon may require a tester to have again e-commerce domain. So this is what you should have some domain knowledge too. So guys, there are two types of domain available in the market. Okay. So generally some domain are industrial domain we can say, and some domain are business process. So both are different. Okay. Business process means some kind of HR management, human resource domain, right? Some kind of CRM, customer relationship management, right? Some chain CRM or customer relation, again, it is the same. Some kind of, the project management, like such a kind of domain which based on certain process. Those domains are called business process. But industrial means what? All this finance, okay? Plus e-commerce, I will say telecom, even what else we can say? Healthcare. Yeah, healthcare also. It comes under industrial. Are you getting my point? So there are two specific domain area for a software application you should know. Some applications, some organization, they are working for business process. Some organization, they are working for what? Industrial domain. So guys, having a information about domain, it will also plays a very important role to understand detail about that software. So obviously, if any application comes under e-commerce, you should know the basic process. That in e-commerce domain, how many different modules are there? So in e-commerce domain, there are the module like first is register user can log in, user can search a product, user can add it to the cart, user can make a payment. This is basic, correct? For telecom domain also you should know different module. So basically, having information about the domain, that plays a very important role in software testing. So I have listed out some domain name. What is your task? Just if you get a chance, if you get a time, just collect some information about this important domain. So most commonly people might ask you related the questions related to this domain. You should know what is e-commerce. Even you can add here insurance. Okay. At least these domain basic information you can collect. What is retail, travel, hospitality? That's the healthcare again. What is banking and financial services? What is healthcare? What is telecom? What is e-commerce? What is insurance? Try to collect some data. Try to collect some information for these software domain. Okay. So very first, type of application, different component, different characteristics, domain for a software application, important to know. Now I'm discussing main topic. Very first, we need to understand architecture for a software application. You know what? What exactly architecture it is and how many different architectures we are having. Technically, it is just a blueprint. Blueprint for various hardware software component and their interaction. Guys, let me tell you, when we talk about software architecture now, two components, first of all, you need to understand. See, for every software application, first component is client. Second component is server. You know what? Client is responsible to pass a request, and server is responsible to do two things: validate request, and server can simple serve request. Means we have two components to understand. First of all, client and server. Client is simply passing request to the server. So server, how come server validate a request? You know what? At server side where the application is actually hosted, that is a server. So internally developer designs certain business logic. Do remember? Developer designs certain business logic. So whenever you are passing any request to the server, through the business logic, server validate a request. If it is a valid, then request goes to internally database. There is a one more server available at server side, that is a database server. And from the database server, you will get a response. Again, through the business logic, I mean through the server only, response will go to the client side. So basically, these are what? Some internal components. Majorly these two, including these two, your server and database server. That is actually called server component. So currently, these two components is a part of every software application. Okay. So whenever we talk about architecture, architecture means how the software application interact along with these entire component. So guys, previously, like whenever they simply start designing the different software application, so initially they develop only first architecture, which is called desktop architecture. So desktop applications, that is based on, we can simple consider some applications are a desktop based. So what do you mean by desktop architecture? And this is actually called one tier architecture also. So what is this? This means all the software component, including client, server, database server, it resides on a single computer system, and only one person at a time that can use that software application. Then such a application is called desktop application. One more time I'm repeating. If application resides on a single computer, application and its all component reside on a single computer, and only one person is able to access it, such application is called desktop. So let's see. Suppose this is my computer machine and I'm installing one software application. So you are getting client also, you are getting server also on that same machine. And only one person at a time can access that software application. This is called desktop architecture. Can you give me some example for desktop applications? Which application is a desktop? Can I say? Yes, you can write your answer in the chat box. What do you think? Which application we can call it as desktop? Whenever application, its component resides on a single machine and only we can use it. See, all the desktop application comes under the same, but what are those? Guys, Microsoft Suite, right? At a time, you have to install Microsoft Suite on your machine, and through that machine only, you can access it. Are you getting my point? Even, let's talk about browser. Whenever you install a browser, that browser you can use only on that machine. So that is what desktop application. The browser is a desktop. Even operating system, that's a desktop. You have to install it first and then you can access it. Are you getting my point? So all these applications, whenever its all component resides on a one machine and only one person can use it, that is a desktop. So initially they designed a desktop application only. So there was a first architecture available in this IT market, that was a desktop. But later on they noticed, if we have a desktop application, one person is only at a time using that application. So if I want to access same application, or if I want to share a same application with multiple user, then based on that idea, they have designed second architecture in the market, which is called client server architecture. And it is still used. Okay, this is called two tier. Why two tier? Let's see. So somewhere you have application like this, application they install on a server. Okay. So application is where? Application is here. Client is also here. I mean, mostly server responsibilities are here. And where is a client who can pass a request? So we have a client on separate machine, right? These machines are connected with this server. This is through the LAN, local area network. So best example, nowadays if you observe small office setup, even in colleges, in schools, lab are simply set up with the client server. So there will be one machine as a which is acting like a server. Other machines get connected with the server. Suppose I want same Microsoft Office suite on this machine. I can pass a request to the server. Server will serve the request. So these are the different client machine. But what they notice in client server, same software copy we can able to access with the different clients. Correct? But what is the problem? This architecture is only limited in a smaller geographical area. Means suppose this is my lab, so I can access some application copy within this area only. I can't access it globally. Somewhere like I'm sitting in Pune and I want to share you that same application. Maybe you are sitting at US site. In that case, how it is possible? How the US person can access the document or software which I am using? So somewhere they observe that there is a global need. And based on that, they design a third architecture type, which is called web architecture. So everybody, are you understanding? This is not a one day topic, right? Slowly they get to know that, okay, what is the problem with this architecture? And then they develop another architecture. So previously there was only desktop, but only one person can access the software application. So they have added client server. In client server, same copy of software, many other client can access. But what is the problem? It is only limited area, right? For that reason, they have simply implemented third architecture type, which is web. In web architecture, first of all, it is a three tier. How come three tier? Because client is somewhere else, server is located somewhere else. This is a web server. And again, we have a database server, which is located somewhere else, where we have a database. So what is happening? Through the internet, yes, through the internet, through the WAN, world, we can say wide area network. Client can be located anywhere and that client can pass a request to the specific server. Those requests server will serve. If it is valid, it will pass to the database server and from the database you will see the result. Are you getting my point? So in web architecture, basically we have a three component located in different area. And for that reason, this is a web architecture where through the internet, use of internet or using internet, we can use a software application and same copy of software application, okay, everybody overall the world, they can follow because we have certain protocols in web communication. We have certain, the what we can say the request type in web communication. And this is what we are learning in automation. So what exactly web architecture it is, how exactly we can automate the software applications. Okay, so we'll be learning this architecture in a deep, because here you will understand two different categories. You will understand what is a functional testing using Selenium, plus three categories I will say. You will understand what is a performance testing using JMeter, and then you will understand, yes, what is the API testing, the latest demand in the market. You should know how you can test API manually plus using automation. So these 3 points you'll be covering, like you will understand based on the web architecture. For now, just understand it is a three tier where client, like I'm a client, so I'm using my browser to pass a request. So I'm using browser, I'm using internet through which I'm passing request to, let's say, if I write facebook.com, that means I'm passing request to the Facebook server. Request get validated by the server. It is coming from the valid user, and then that server will simple provide you the Facebook application on your browser, okay, through the database. So web architecture where we have a three different, we can say, component. Is this point clear? This is very basic. We are discussing today only the basics, right? Nowadays there is a high demand for mobile application, right? Because everywhere we can easily use application in a on a smaller handset, right? And we can easily keep it in our pocket and we can use it. So mobile application, what architecture is there? Yes, we need to understand mobile architecture too. Let me tell you, in terms of mobile architecture, first point, there are two parts. Hardware testing is different, software testing is different. Means what? Hardware testing means you are testing your device. So you have iPhone, you have Samsung device, you have OnePlus device. So device is different, right? So whenever you are testing any device kind of testing, so that's the hardware testing. But any application resides on that device. Whenever you test that, that is a software testing. So it is related to mobile app. I will say it is related to mobile app. So how we test mobile application, what architecture we follow. So guys, there is a very specific thing. Generally, mobile applications are simply developed as per the platform. So if some application designed for a specific platform, then that application we can call native application. So what do you mean by native application? Application designed for a specific platform. Anyways, we are covering this topic separately. In manual testing also, even I'm covering automation also. But for now, just understand, like any application designed for only Android, that is a native for Android. Any application designed for only iPhone, that is a native for that particular iOS, or we can say iPhone. So generally, native applications are nothing but platform based. In mobile also, we have mobile web. Mobile web. Mobile web means what? Some application that you can open on a device also in a browser, right? So those application which needs internet, those applications are called mobile web. Somewhere you have Amazon application separately. Okay, somewhere you have a banking application separately on your machine. And when you open it, it will simple launch in a browser. That's what mobile web. And third, which is high demand, hybrid. Three categories are there, and we'll be learning these categories in the manual testing plus in automation. I will be showing you what is a native and how we can test it even with mobile web. So basically, what is a hybrid? Hybrid is a combination of native plus mobile web. Nowadays, there is a demand application should be work like a native also, and application should work like a web application also. So it should have a both feature like a Instagram. It's a hybrid type of application. WhatsApp, hybrid. We can open it in a mobile view like using mobile web application also. And you can easily download such application from the Play Store and you can install it also. So every application is based on different architecture. So guys, now tell me, suppose in testing you have a desktop application to be tested. So first of all, you need to understand now what is meaning of desktop application. If any application and its component simply install on a same machine and only one person can access it, that application we can call desktop application. So basically, why this topic we are understanding, why we are covering this topic, because application is differently developed. Application architecture also different. So why web is different than mobile? Because mobile application architecture is different, web application architecture is different. So whenever we test the application, architecture is also important to know, okay, for that tester. So definitely these are the four categories we are having: desktop, client server, web, and the mobile. Nowadays, mobile applications are also having a lot of demand. I hope whatever point I have discussed today, is this clear, right? So we have
Yes, ma'am.
started, right? We have started with the very basic, like what software it is. Different types of software. We have a system and we have a application software. Even what is the domain, right? How many different application components are there? Characteristics are there, and both are important, because see, every application is different. Functionality can be different. Quality attributes are mostly common. Every user expects same thing. So if I'm purchasing some product and if you guys are purchasing some product, you are expecting same thing, that product should be quality one. But what that quality means if your application simply following all the quality attributes like functionality wise, performance wise, security wise, every point is available, even it is compatible, that application easily impact on the business. For that reason, application must be quality, it should meet a customer need, and these are the basic points that you should know. Okay, one more point is left, but that I will take tomorrow. Different service model for a software application. And then we will start our main syllabus that is related to software testing. Like what are the different? Let me show you today the content what will be covering in the manual testing. Okay, first of all, I will be showing you the PPTs. I mean, these are the modules. If you observe here, we have total 14 chapters to be covered. First is fundamentals, where we are going to discuss tomorrow the basics. Then I'm covering testing principles. Then we will talk about development cycle, testing cycle. Then we will talk about types of testing, where we'll be covering verification, validation, testing methods. Okay, how you can simple follow the best test case design technique, where you will understand in this chapter testing method. Then we'll be talking about quality, plan, test case writing, how to do that right. Even I will be starting test case writing from this module only. So you will understand theory plus practical thing. And even based on that, will be in test designing. I will be covering again one more tool. That is, I have told you, TestRail tool, where you will understand how to prepare test cases in TestRail also. Along with that, defect management, where you will learn Jira, and then mobile application, web application, that is just like what type of application it is and what the key points we need to focus, that is I have prepared. And then based on that, last topic will be types of tool. Once we have completed this part, I will be showing you, even if possible, I will be covering JMeter also. Okay, in the manual testing process only, so you will understand what JMeter it is and how we do performance testing. But these are the topics we have to cover. Okay, so this is your manual testing syllabus. First we'll be covering. Once manual testing will over, then we will start with automation testing, where I will cover Java programming, and then our Selenium and other tool which will be learned. Okay, yeah, project is there. So project in manual testing, it's all about, yeah, project in manual testing, it's all about, there are two projects actually I'm providing. That's one is based on human resource management. Second project is based on e-commerce. So whenever you are doing any project in manual testing, it's like a simple, we have to simple prepare a test cases for the same. So I'm providing two projects for manual testing, and same applications will be using in automation too. Okay, right. And even side by side, if time permits, just to make a more session interactive, what we'll be doing, we'll be solving some ISTQB questions also. Okay, so be ready for that. Every day you should prepare based on your understanding, you should answer. So you will have a practice on ISTQB certification too. So I will be covering the content, everything as per the certification only. Yes, you'll be getting the notes. I will be sharing this entire documents as it is with you, right? So you'll be getting the notes, everything through the email. Yeah, one more thing. I will drop a message in the group. Please share your email ID also. So now onwards, you will be getting all the recorded sessions, everything on your email only. And only official that person only it's secure. So obviously, if you are registered for the course, only you can access that video. Okay? Yeah, you can access it. Yes. Okay, great. Anything else you want to ask me? So do not worry about recorded session, about this, we can say notes and everything, whatever help you want from my side, interview questions and all, right? Everything I will be covering. If you want that I should take a mock interview for you guys, I'm ready for that. Let me know. What we can do, module wise, I can schedule a mock interviews for you, just for your preparation. If you all are committed, we can do in that way also. So let's say once manual testing will cover, we will decide one weekend, and on that weekend I will give you time also. Let's say this week we have completed manual testing. I will give you complete 1 week. And then next Saturday, Sunday, we will schedule your mock interview. So that is also I can do. Okay. So this is my personal batch, right? And for this, definitely I'm not providing any placement, but this is how I can simply make your preparation. Okay. I can simple help you to prepare yourself for the interview. Do not worry. Yeah. Okay. Fine. So that's great. Let's stop the session now and we will continue rest of the topics again from tomorrow. Right.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Okay. Bye everyone. Take care. Thank you.
Yeah.